Hello my friends, and welcome back to the always evolving, lately, rabbit hole. Today's video is going to be a review of not a new release at all. We are reviewing the Jane Iredale Powder Foundation. Today, a product that's been around for a long time. But as you know, if you did see my Ulta haul, I wanted to buy this product, but woo, it was an absolute nightmare to find reviews, to shade match, oh my gosh, to shade match. Thus, as these things go, I have felt the need to make this video, so I hope it is helpful for any of you who are considering this product. Hey, I consider myself in today's video hold on, I need my kombucha. This kombucha, 221 BC, grapefruit and bee pollen. I gotta be honest with you, if you are new to kombucha, don't start with this one. So my game plan for today's video, I'm gonna start by giving you an overview of the product itself. We're gonna talk about the ingredients, all of that, and then I'll show you how I've been applying this. Just so you know, there are timestamps in the description box below if you wanna jump to any section of this video. I'll also have a product link. If you purchase through that link, it does help to support this channel. So this is a two-part system. To get started, you're gonna have to buy two separate parts. The PurePressed Base Mineral Foundation Refill is a product that you buy entirely on its own, and then there is the refillable compact. I'm gonna be honest with you and say I'm not super in love with the option that is available on the Ulta website. I was looking around and I see that Jane Iredale has some other options. This particular one, though $18, is a little bit on the cheap side. It feels kind of flimsy. It gets the job done. It's a little more eco-friendly, although still just plastic, but I kind of feel for $18, it feels a little expensive for what it was. $9 is what I paid. I bought these for 50% off. And the foundation itself comes in a little plastic sleeve along with a puff, which I'm just going to be honest with you, I'm never going to use this. I would very rarely recommend a puff for a powder foundation. It's going to apply a lot of product. And when we get to the application section, I'll show you that I don't actually apply a lot of this. I don't think you need to apply a lot of it. This is a foundation that does contain some SPF. It says it is broad spectrum SPF 20, water resistant for 40 minutes. So let's take a look at the back panel here. So the sunscreen ingredients in here are titanium dioxide at 14%, zinc oxide at 3%, which is fantastic news if you are someone with more sensitive skin and you can only use mineral filters. Those are going to be your mineral filters right there. And as far as the directions, apply all over the face with a brush. For optimal sun protection, apply liberally 15 minutes before sun exposure. So because of that detail, they're probably not wrong. You probably can reach the SPF of 20 by applying this liberally, but again, that's not the way I'm going to recommend you use this. So just so you know, I have been pairing this with another sunscreen. The one I wore today is the Dr. Dennis Gross All Physical Lightweight Wrinkle Defense SPF 30. That's a fantastic sunscreen. Oh, that's a nice one, but it is very, very expensive. That specific one was gifted by the brand. Okay. They say to reapply after 40 minutes of swimming or sweating or immediately after towel drying, and reapply at least every 2 hours. But let's talk a little more about the inactive ingredients. Something I always say, or well, I used to always say this, is that I feel like foundation is kind of in the middle of your other makeup products and your skincare products. It's something where if you have a basic understanding of skincare ingredients, it could really help you in finding the right foundation for your needs. So what do we have going on here? Mycoboron nitride dimethicone. This is a powder foundation that does contain silicones. Now, silicones sometimes get a bad rap. I absolutely do not think they should. For me, if a foundation doesn't have silicone, I typically have a much harder time with it. We have some skin boosting ingredients in here. We have plankton extract, algae extract, which I might just have an entire video on. Pine bark, pomegranate, so you're going to get some antioxidant protection. And then when it says may contain iron oxides, chromium oxide greens, all this stuff, what that means is each shade is made up of different pigments, and for the record, iron oxides also do give you blue light protection. So there actually is quite an argument for any of you who are more into skincare and don't wear any tinted products. There's an argument for wearing tinted products. And that's it. That's a very condensed formula. It's a lot of why when I introduced this in my Ulta video, I said I think this is a great choice for sensitive skin. As long as you have a shorter ingredients list, you have a much lower risk of having some kind of an allergic reaction or irritation. And again, if you're new to this channel, I do have dry skin and acne, and I also have my foundation shades listed in the description box below. So let's talk about the shade I bought next. So my skin tone is very fair. It's also kind of hard to match because I do have a bit of an olive undertone. I still personally think there's a lot of room for fair and olive shades on the market. But anyway, knowing this, I ended up going for the shade Bisque, which is fair with a light gold undertone. That's how it's described. I was a little torn. Ivory says fair with neutral undertones, but I read a lot of reviews and I saw some people saying that was surprisingly cool toned. And remember that cool is pink, which would be a stark contrast to my slightly green undertones, right? What's so interesting to me about actually getting the Bisque shade is that I would say this is such a true neutral. To give you a contrast, a foundation shade I've been wearing a lot lately is the Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation in the shade Sable 0.5, which is described as very fair with neutral, warm undertones. And I think that this is actually more neutral than that. I'm also very surprised by the depth of it. It is a very light foundation. Arguably, it might be a little tiny bit too light for me, but that's no problem. I would personally rather buy it lighter so I can use bronzer. So I am pleased with the Bisque foundation. I think that's the right tone for me. I think it's the right depth for me. If any of you also have this foundation and want to share some of your shades and what's similar to it, I think that would be really helpful to add to the comments because, again, this is something that's so hard to match online, and I was just really floored by how little guidance there is. Even the Ulta website was so useless for this, so useless. Okay, now as for application, now I do have dry skin. You would think that a powder foundation might not flatter dry skin, but we already talked about the ingredients. This is a foundation that is not just powder. It has some ingredients in it that really help to sit nicely on your skin, to adhere nicely to your skin. But again, because my skin type is more difficult, I do have a couple of tips for you. One would be to incorporate an oil into your skincare routine. That's what I did today. I just used a much more affordable oil, the Physicians Formula 24 karat gold collagen oil. Wonderful, affordable oil, wonderful. And by having that in my skincare routine as opposed to just using it as a primer, it's had plenty of time to really sink into my skin. And that's what oils do. They're emollient ingredients. So basically, all skin under a microscope has kind of cracks in it, more so if you have dry skin. When you bring in an oil, it helps to fill in the cracks. That's why we call emollient softening ingredients. But if you do want more, I think it will benefit you to use a silicone-based primer because this, in spite of being a powder foundation, is a silicone-based powder foundation. So I thought we would go with the Bareminerals Primetime Original Foundation Powder today. I don't really need this. My sunscreen does in fact act as a primer, but you know, we can still do this. So oils are emollient, silicones are occlusive ingredients, and what that means is it sits on the surface of your skin. That's really beneficial if you have any kind of skin texture. So right here where I have not only pores, but I had, you know, that really bad breakout. How's it coming along? I think it's starting to look a lot better. I had a really bad breakout there, ironically, from my skin adjusting to a higher retinoid. But it definitely is a textured portion of my face for right now, so we're gonna add that silicone primer over it, a little bit on my chin here. Okay, so obviously we're gonna do concealer before foundation, right? That makes sense because we're gonna be using a powder today. So I'm grabbing my Tarte Extra Creamy Shape Tape and we're just gonna do a couple little dots under my eyes. Why do I look tired today? I actually slept enough last night. The day I was actually tired, I didn't look tired. Well, wonders never cease. And I'm blending this out with the dupe of the Beauty Blender, what's it called? What's their concealer one called? That's not the Beauty Blusher, is it? What's that one called? But this one is actually from e.l.f. e.l.f. makes my personal favorite sponges. And I'm blending just a tiny bit more down here. I'm not gonna actually completely cover these spots, but we're just gonna kind of take the edge off of them. I just got mad at myself because I'm trying so hard to keep track of how that Glow Recipe dark spot serum is going on my skin, but I keep forgetting to take pictures. I take notes, but I don't remember to take pictures. We're ready to apply. How fast is this? See, this is really why I think this is such a great product. It's so fast. I'm going to show you some brushes that I would recommend and also actually some I probably wouldn't. I'm finding that I like, in particular, this one. This is an IT Cosmetics For Alta brush, Airbrush Powder Wand number 108. This is actually a past 21 days of beauty sale purchase, but yeah, it's been really great. It's funny, you wouldn't necessarily think it would be, but I think because this is a powder foundation where you don't need a lot, it applies just the right amount. It's actually fantastic. What I wouldn't recommend is something like this right here, the MAC 170. This is great for full coverage, but I don't think that this looks best built up to full coverage. I think it looks better on your skin applied in a more medium coverage type of way. When you put your brush in here, it actually kicks up a lot of powder. I would recommend you kind of tap off the excess and gently apply this. All right, so you see how lightly I'm applying this, and we can come back and add more as needed. I also grabbed the Real Techniques setting brush for under my eyes, just so I could have a little bit more control applying the powder foundation there. It's a little hard to get right here with the brush, so we'll get that with the setting brush also. Okay, so now I'm going to check and see if I want any more coverage anywhere, which I do. Let's get a little bit more coverage right here and on my chin. Here's what's so fantastic about this foundation. I'm done. I mean, I could be done. I'm electing not to be, but I could stop here. If I wanted just the most natural makeup look, this doesn't look like I'm wearing makeup. It certainly doesn't look like I have, cakey foundation on. I think that's one of the main concerns I saw people saying about switching to a powder foundation is, could it look cakey? No, I don't think it does if you apply it like this. But I'm going to use a little bit of bronzer, so I'm using the Nabla Ambra bronzer. Of course I am, right? I know. Rest assured I will mess up my hairline doing this, but this will bring a little bit of color into my face, and then, you could stop there. A lot of people think you cannot apply cream blush over powder foundation. You absolutely can. You absolutely can. And if you have dry skin, this may even look more flattering on you. Although, again, this particular powder foundation is so well done that it doesn't look drying. Also, a Real Techniques brush here. This is limited edition packaging, but I'm pretty sure this is a permanent brush. The multitask cheek brush, I think that's permanent. And you could certainly stop here, but I'm not going to. I can't believe I forgot to haul my Bobbi Brown powder. I also bought the highlighting powder in Afternoon Glow. Oh, the irony of dipping an e.l.f. brush into a Bobbi Brown Cosmetics compact. I just buy stuff on sale. I do want to buy the new Tower 28. What is it called? The SPF, the tinted SPF. I do want to buy that. I'll probably pay full price for that. Unless, no, that comes after the Friends and Family sale, doesn't it? We have but one more optional step, totally optional, and that is your mist. I'm going to use my Peach and Lily Glass Skin Veil Mist. I think I have enough that this won't mess up my face. You know what I'm talking about? Do you ever try to spray your very last spray of a mist and it totally betrays you? That was scary. I'm really running low on this. So that's it. I showed you a lot of optional steps, but again, I think the real strength with this product is that it's such a good formulation that it doesn't need a lot of manipulating to get it to look nice, to sit nicely on your skin. Some powder foundations I've tried on my dry skin, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to get them to look nice. This one, you can do these steps if you do have a very dry skin type, but really, you don't even necessarily need to. You can just slap this on and go, and again, it just looks nice, wears all day, reapply if you are wearing it for sun protection. I hope this video was helpful. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did enjoy this video, and I will see you all next time.